Hey, Smarty Pants. According to recent polls, impulse buying, impulse shopping actually costs us $300 a month on average. That is a car payment. In this video, I'm going to talk about what causes impulse spending and give you 15 easy ways to stop impulse shopping. This is especially good for those of us with ADHD, as impulse buying is a super common trait for ADHDers. By watching this, you could easily save yourself hundreds, if not thousands of dollars a year. My name is Kate Moody, your money librarian, here to help people making decent money but still stressed out about their cash actually take control over their money to get that stress out of their lives. Be sure to subscribe to get my videos to help smarty pantses like you save oodles, stress less, get rid of spending guilt. If you want this in a downloadable form, I've actually made you a PDF of the 15 different things that I'm going to talk about, link in the description. Let's talk about what causes impulse buying. Don't fast forward through this bit, it actually is important. There are lots of reasons, but I'm going to give you 3 super common ones. First and foremost, it's fun. We enjoy spending money. It feels nice. We get a dopamine rush. We like to buy things even if we had no intention of buying them because it just feels good. This is especially true for those of us with ADHD because our brains are constantly looking for dopamine. Now, secondly, and this one is super insidious, if your view of yourself, if your identity has taken a hit, you're going to be more willing to spend money on items to make you believe that you're more of the person you want to be. Let me illustrate. If your identity is wrapped up in the idea that, like, I am a great runner. So if you think that you're a great runner and then you realize that you haven't been running recently, or you did a race and you did really poorly on that, you're going to be more likely to go to the running store and buy super fancy high-end running gear to prove to yourself that you are that person you believe yourself to be. You are that great runner. If your identity is wrapped up in your work, that you are really great at your job, and then because you're human, you messed up at work, you're going to be more likely to do something like buy that $300 purse that reinforces the idea that you are successful, because only a successful person would have a $300 purse like this, right? Lastly, emotions. And these are all emotion-based, right? Money is 90% emotions, 10% logic. If you are in any strong emotional state, and that's like good and bad emotional states. If you're really happy, really sad, feeling lonely, hyper, excited, whatever, you are more likely to impulse spend. What can you do to help stop impulse purchases so you can get that $300 a month back and spend on items that align with your real needs and future goals? Well, here is my big honkin' list. First off, unsubscribe from retailers' emails. You guys, they send those emails so you buy more stuff. Now, I get it though, because you do want to get some retailers' emails because they send out good coupons and stuff. All right, great. Have an email address just for retailers. Only log in when you're looking for a coupon. Turn off notification from retailers' apps. I'm looking at you, Sephora. This is something I just did last weekend. Or better yet, delete retailers' apps off your phone. And delete credit card information from apps from your browser. If you're not willing to get off the couch and type in your credit card number, you don't really want this item. Put it in a wish list instead of the cart. Hello, Amazon. I do this all the time. And then I'll look through my wish lists, a month later, and maybe there will be something that I'll say, oh, that's actually useful, and then I'll buy it. But oftentimes it's a lot of stuff that I can tell I was just in the mood to shop. Create structures to help you curb impulse shopping. Come armed with a list. Walk into the store with an actual written down list. It can be on a piece of paper, it can be in your notes app, but it cannot be in your head. Not only does this save you money because you know what you need to buy, it also saves you time because you're not looking at all of the shelves for stuff you feel like buying. You just have your lists there, you go in, you buy that stuff, you leave. Have a budget. You knew this one was coming. Having money specifically for spending on fun stuff will make sure you're still saving, that your bills are covered, you're not overspending, and remove guilt for when you just find something awesome that you want. Use cash, leave your cards at home. And I know this sounds extreme, like I'm telling you to leave the house without your phone or something insane like that, but hear me out. If you are going to a store that you know you overspend at, Target, TJ Maxx, Sephora, major culprits for me, you are taking the potential for impulse spending off the table entirely, because you literally are unable to spend any more than you have on you. And don't worry, if you find something that you really love, you can come back for it later. And if you're not willing to come back for it, probably a good sign that you didn't actually want that thing to begin with. Never go in an emotional state. If you recognize that you are feeling especially happy, sad, lonely, excited, hyper, all whatever emotion it is, try not to go shopping because you are more likely to impulse spend. Reframe impulse purchases as a choice between a small thing now and a big thing you really want later. Denying yourself purchases hurts. We don't like to be denied. But if you're saving up for something you really want, you're reframing your decision. You're no longer denying yourself a purchase. It's now a question. Okay, do I want $60 worth of candles and pillows more than a big trip to Mexico for my girlfriend's 40th birthday, which I have to save money for? And if I spend my money here, I won't have the money to save for that trip. Now you've reframed that purchase as a choice. You're not being denied something. You're just saying, which do I want more? You take back control over the situation and you feel good about putting the items back on the shelf. Next, along these same lines, don't say no, just say later. Remember, you don't want to deny yourself something because that feels bad and will ultimately make you rebel against acting responsibly with your money. Some people have like a 24-hour policy. They say, okay, if I still want it tomorrow, I can buy it tomorrow. And if you're not willing to go back to the store tomorrow, good chance that you didn't actually want that thing to begin with. Because if you're not willing to drive, you don't actually want that thing. Calculate the cost in terms of hours worked. This is a great mindset shift to make. A quick and dirty is if you make $100,000 a year, that's about $50 an hour. If you make $75,000 a year, that's $36 an hour. $50,000 a year is $25 an hour. You can sort of figure out where you are from those. If you find a great pair of shoes and they cost $140, you make $75,000, you'd say, okay, well, I'd have to work 4 hours for these pair of shoes. And if you're standing there thinking like, yeah, I would totally work 4 hours for these pair of shoes, then get them. If you're like, no, hell no, I'm not going to work 4 hours for those shoes, then probably not a great buy. Don't impulse spend on those shoes. Learn to recognize when you're looking for a dopamine hit or are in a strongly emotional state. Remember, both of these states will make you more likely to impulse spend. Do something other than impulse spend, impulse buy on this stuff. All right, here are some ideas. Transfer money to a savings account. No, hear me out. This is something my clients learn as we go through the process of coaching. You can learn to get pleasure, to get that dopamine hit by saving money. Instead of buying something, stand there with your little phone in your bank app, transfer $10 to a savings account and look at how much your savings account is growing over the past few months. You'll retrain your brain to get the same enjoyment from the security of having that money and the satisfaction of knowing you've done something right with your money. If you are in an ADHD dopamine spiral, and I get it, you have to have something, you need that dopamine hit. You're like, I need something shiny and new right now. Okay, fine, let's work with it. Get yourself a little $7 lip gloss, just something cheap, something under $10 to get that little dopamine hit, not a $300 jacket. Get yourself just a little something that isn't going to break the bank and bring you back down to level. Whew! Okay, that is a lot of ways to curb your impulse spending and save yourself around $300 a month. Give all of them a try. Personal finance is personal. Some things may work for you, some won't, but you won't know until you try. Cheers. I also have a student loan forgiveness cheat sheet. I've got 24 easy money moves checklists to help you stress less, save more, all this stuff, link in the description.